This timeout is sponsored by Augie's Locker Room. Augie's features the largest collection of Notre Dame football memorabilia and gifts, including rare and hard-to-find items.
Hey, this is Augie, Augie's Locker Room. Website, augieslockerroom.com. Visit us here or the website.
Tim Priest with John Bryce. We just came from Marcus Freeman's press conference as we preview Stanford. A little bit of review of senior day on against Wake Forest, but mainly the attention has been turned to Stanford. Stanford, not a very good football team, but they do a whole lot, JB. They do, as much as Wake Forest used some gadgets to get things going a little bit offensively Saturday, Stanford does even more because they have two quarterbacks that not only play, but frequently play at the same time.
Yeah, if Wake Forest had a couple of gadgets in its pocket, then Stanford has an arsenal of gadgets. And they're in a first-year program under Coach Troy Taylor, and they're just trying to rebuild. They have nothing to lose, and they've played that way this year. They're trying to instill a certain type of tempo, a certain type of demeanor within the program. He was wildly successful at Sacramento State. But there's that first year with where the program had been, they're playing with a lot of house money. They had a nice win earlier in the season against Deion Sanders in Colorado, but they're not a very good team. But they are a team at home and a team that, under a different head coach, beat Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame a year ago.
Troy Taylor did such a good job at Sacramento State that Sacramento State beat Stanford in the third game of the year. But I think Stanford's a better football team than that. And I thought it was interesting that in asking Marcus Freeman about Stanford and the variety on offense, he said he went into Al Golden's offense on Sunday and he said he looked like a mad scientist at the whiteboard drawing everything up. So they do have certainly a lot in their arsenal, but Notre Dame needs to be better on the road. They haven't been very good on the road, and Marcus Freeman said it begins with starting fast.
You know, we asked him about the next steps for this program. Certainly, a win Saturday would be a huge note to finish on this regular season, to keep alive that chance for a 10-win season. As noted today, Notre Dame is 14-4 since it lost last season here inside Notre Dame Stadium to Stanford. We asked him about the next steps for the program. He pointed specifically to playing better on the road, to winning more of the close games, and this is another major step. This is a bad football team, but I don't think you can overstate that it's a major step for Notre Dame football.
Well, no doubt, and you want to have a shot at 10 victories on the season if you get that in a bowl game, but it starts with Stanford. And I can remember Lou Holtz saying that he was never big on promoting revenge against an opponent. He wanted to do it just at face value, play good football, and win. But I dare say that I think revenge is on Notre Dame's mind. They should not have lost to a Stanford team last year by a score of 16-14. It was the first year of the Marcus Freeman regime, no doubt about that, but still, under the circumstances, they shouldn't have, and as Marcus said himself, there should be no issue motivating the team this weekend in Palo Alto.
And again, it's a chance to see how far this program has come, because a year ago, early in that game, Notre Dame had some things go its way and was in a good position to put that game well out of hand and wasted opportunities. How much more complete is this Notre Dame football team and program? How much more mature is this Notre Dame football team and program? We've not seen enough of it this year on the road. Again, we need to see more of it this weekend in California.
Some personnel stuff. Zeke Corral, who missed the game last week, still in concussion protocol, is not back yet as we start the week. And so we'll see if he works his way back into the starting lineup. I suspect that it's Ashton Craig. Ashton Craig, having watched the game yesterday, I thought, in comparing Craig and Shroud, I thought Craig was the more of the aggressor. I thought he did some things on the second level, getting to the second level. But by and large, those two held up pretty well.
They did. They provided, I think, some promising glimpses for the future of that interior Notre Dame offensive line. With Ashton Craig, forced into action at Clemson, I think maybe we saw the benefit of having that game experience and having played at that game speed under his belt more this past weekend against Wake. Now let's see if we can see a similar step forward from game 1 to game 2 for Billy Schrauth after the volume of work he got against Wake Forest.
Schrauth definitely starts, and I think you and I both would assume that Ashton Craig ends up starting this game this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's really significant for Zeke Corral that if he's still in concussion protocol, we're talking about now 16 days after that game at Clemson as we stand here today. Moreover, the concussion was so significant at Clemson that he had to stay in the locker room. He was not allowed back onto the field after halftime of that game. And so that lets you know that that was a real significant concussion. He's not been able to test out of protocol. Marcus Freeman saying, look, we anticipate him back this week, but we absolutely will leave it up to the doctors. And again, it's hard. If you've not been able to do anything for 2.5 weeks, it's hard to ramp it up in this week and then take a 4-hour and 15-minute plane ride across the country and be ready to go.
Marcus Freeman was asked about whether he would, because of the trouble on the road, whether he would adjust how they approach this and just the details of the itinerary. And Notre Dame normally leaves on Thanksgiving to get out to the West Coast, whether it's Los Angeles or San Francisco. But they're going to leave on Friday, which I thought is interesting. They're going to treat Thursday like a normal practice Thursday here, have a team dinner, and then head out on Friday. What are your thoughts on that, JB?
I like that. I think they've done some studies that show, we know they talked about it when they made the trip over to Ireland. They did these studies that show you're better off minimizing the time. When the time zone changes are that drastic, you're better off just trying to stick as close to your normal schedule and minimizing how much time you're on an off schedule. And so I think maybe that this helps Notre Dame treat it more like a business trip.
Yeah. That's it for Insta Analysis. From here, we go to Irish Illustrated Insider. Check us out on irishillustrated.com.